Hello, and welcome to A Fan Reads Bantha Tracks. This time I'll be reading Bantha Tracks issue number 34, Autumn 1986. And this is a special sound sheet edition. This Bantha Tracks has a record on it. Very cool. First has a little information about what this is all about. Sprocket Systems is Lucasfilm's post-production division. It's responsible for taking pieces of film and sound tape from a filmmaker and turning them into a finished movie. And that's not quite as simple as it sounds. This complexity begins with a contradiction. Even though post-production begins with post, which means after, the process actually begins long before the cameras roll. An example of this is the first Star Wars film. Long before production began, George Lucas told his sound designers he wanted an organic soundtrack. Talking with George further, they learned he meant he wanted the sounds to be real, not a lot of boops and beeps made by synthesizers. Working from paintings for inspiration, the sound designers undertook sound expeditions, taping sounds ranging from television sets to the back door on a garbage truck. Layering and mixing hundreds of sounds together, they created the organic soundtrack Lucas was after. The next time you see a videotape of a Star Wars film, close your eyes and listen to the sound alone. You'll hear amazing things that you might have missed with your eyes open. That's because the sound is there to augment, to present the visuals, not overpower them. That same process is used on films that seem much less complicated than the epic Star Wars trilogy. The reason is simply most of what you hear at the movies was created in post-production. Whether it's the sound of an Imperial Walker, or the sound of a car driving down the street, or the sounds of a dinner being served. It still has to be recorded, edited, and mixed into a film. You might think those sounds are recorded during filming, but usually they are not. Sprocket's head, Tom Kobayashi, says a remarkable 90% of what you hear in a theater was probably added in post-production. A scant 10% or less could have been recorded as the cameras rolled. That's a lot of work and a very different part of bringing a director's vision to the wide screen. There are different ways of adding that 90%. Different methods and different ways of working together as artists. You'll hear about that on your sound sheet. You'll also hear sound designers Ben Burt, Randy Thorne, and Gary Summers explain sound design, which is a different way of meeting the challenge of creating a soundtrack. Because post-production involves so much work on a film's sound, Bantha Tracks decided to let sounds themselves explain the process further for you and is issuing this special sound sheet of Bantha Tracks. It was produced for Bantha Tracks by Sprocket Systems, Dave Slusser, and Jock Church, who made use of the same studios, tools, and techniques used to create films' soundtracks. If kept in this folder and protected, your sound sheet will last many years. We hope you enjoy it. Alright, well, let's hear the record.
Sprocket Systems.
Distinctive by design.
Baker 61,
By
David,
design.
take two.
By design.
Camera.
By design.
Marker.
By design.
And action.
By design.
Sprocket Systems Sound Library, Laser Sword Tape, Dolby Tone.
Magnetic Reference Laboratory, reproducer test tape, 1000 hertz at reference fluxivity.
Good afternoon, Sprocket.
Sound design has always existed since we've had sound film.
Let me transfer you to Ben Burton and Gary Summers.
Someone has always been responsible for deciding what was going to be in the soundtrack.
I think the main thing with sound design is that you start earlier in the project and you follow the project all the way through. That's really how sound design works.
The term sound design started getting some use about 5 or 6 years ago by people such as myself and a few others who were doing both sound editing and mixing.
The things we do are done on other films. We record sounds.
So you had recording,
We edit sounds.
you had sound editing,
We mix sounds.
you had sound mixing, and there were 3 separate teams of people generally on
The
films.
way we like to do it, and I think it's better this way, is that one person supervises the concept all the way through, or makes sure that the continuity continues.
You should talk to Tom Kobayashi. Let me try his line for you.
It's like building a house. I mean, it's like, it's nice to have the interior decorator start when you start construction so that you know that you're going to do coverings here or wallpaper over here. And those decisions are made as you go along. You're going to have a more put together house.
Hi, Randy. I have a call for you.
A director may say to me when we're looking at a scene in the film, see this guy come out of this house and get in the car and take off. Well, we need some sound there. I may go away and make a recording of a car that's about like that car that I see on the screen doing those things, backing up and driving off. I play that for the director, and the director says, well, yeah, that's that kind of car, but this guy's a killer. This is not the point we're making. And what he means is that it's important to the director that every possible thing in that scene reinforce the idea that this guy is a villain. So the car that he gets in probably needs to sound a little more vicious than an actual 68 Chevy Impala. And very, very few people will ever say to me after looking at a film, those tire squeals were ridiculous. That would never happen in reality. People believe it. And that's one of the big powers that sound has, I think, in film.
Another power sound has is that you can, put different sounds together, work with them, and create whole new sounds. It's like an additive art form. The moment that I saw a painting of the lightsaber, I think that part of what I saw was based on some sounds in the very old Flash Gordon serials, actually.
Slim cats, yes, but our only one.
I discovered that there was a motor on a projector, a movie projector at USC, which made almost that proper sound of the old Flash Gordon serials. It might have even been a motor that they recorded. So I recorded that. And then I felt that really wasn't quite right, though, because I felt that it didn't have a feeling of scintillation to it, sort of a sparkling aspect it didn't have. It had just a buzz. So I recorded some static in the back of the television set I had at the time by placing a condenser microphone very near the back of the picture tube, and you actually picked up a very nasty buzz. And I took that sputtering sound and the hum of this motor on the projector and combined the two, just mixed them together on 2 tracks of the tape recorder. This was the basic sound from which all the lightsaber noises were then derived. The movements of the swords were created by playing that sound over a speaker in a room and then re-recording the sound with a handheld microphone, which could be waved around and moved around in front of the speaker, which was playing this hum. And you could whiz the microphone by the speaker very quickly and get a as it went by. And it was this aspect of giving the sound some dynamics which helped it really to seem like it really belonged with the swords when it was finally synchronized with the visuals.
In short, I think what's best about Sprockets is the people here. When media people come, people from television especially, to do stories about Lucasfilm, the easiest thing for them to grab onto is always high tech and equipment and knobs and dials and digital, and I've always thought that was a shame because we have all of that here. It's true, but machines are stupid compared to people, and they will be for a long time.
Sprocket Systems.
Distinctive by design.
Okay, folks, it's a wrap.
That was a really neat look behind the scenes, or sounds from behind the scenes. And this record is really neat. What else is in Bantha Tracks? Star Tours, Star Wars comes to Disneyland. Board a shuttle and blast off for a thrilling tour of a galaxy far, far away on Star Tours, the new Star Wars installation in Disneyland's Tomorrowland. The Star Tours ride simulates the experience of spaceflight in the Star Wars universe. You'll be greeted by C-3PO, who will advise you to fasten your seatbelts and stow your hand luggage, speaking in both English and Ewokese. You'll need that seatbelt before blasting through the space doors for a wild ride through outer space. WED's Imagineers and Lucasfilm's ILM and Sprocket's designers were putting the final touches on Star Tours as BT-34 went to press. Expect the grand opening early next year. Wow, that's so awesome. I can't wait to get on Star Tours. I'm sure that's going to be very fun and very exciting. Well, that's it for this issue of Bantha Tracks, and this one was a very short issue. I'm not looking forward to the end of Bantha Tracks. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.